Hello, JavaScripters. Bruce here to talk about functions. We didn't get a chance to talk about functions much in class, but I'm sure by now you've read chapters 1, 2, and 3, and you probably have some questions. I know some of you who had PHP, functions in JavaScript should be quite easy to understand. They're almost identical. But for those of you who haven't had this before, let's go through it. So I'm going to create a script tag inside of an HTML document here. Okay, and I always overtype. And inside of my script tag, I'm going to create a function called log. Okay, and log is going to take a single parameter, and it's going to be message. Okay, now a function contains the keyword function, the name of the function, and then inside 0, 1 or more parameters, okay? And again, this particular function called log has one parameter. Now, the purpose of this function here is to save me from having to type console.log and then a message over and over again, right? So now I'll be able to type log and then pass in a parameter and have it log out to the console, maybe a message, okay? Well, the message that I pass it as an argument in a function call, okay? So inside of this function, I'm going to say, hey, every time we call this function, I want you to log out the message that I'm going to pass you. And here I'm going to say, you know something? I'm going to say log, okay, the word log, the string, and then I'm going to add to it, right, the message that we passed into the function, okay? So down below here, right, if I call the function log and I pass into it, we are here, okay, just a very generic message, and I save my HTML and I open it in the browser. Okay, now if I go to my console, you can see here log : we are here. Okay, functions allow you to reuse functionality, right? So now I can do something like log exiting this part of the program. Okay, just random stuff here. And if I do that, right, I'll be able to refresh. Okay, and now I can see the function got called 2 times, right? Because that's the job of a function, right? Is to package up functionality that you use over and over again, right? Dry. Don't repeat yourself. I don't know if you remember that acronym from other courses or some of my courses, but it means don't repeat yourself, okay? So again, here is the function declaration. Here is the name of the function. Here is the parameter that we're calling it with, right? Message. And here we're just logging out a string and then the actual message that we're passing in to the function on line 11. And then on line 15 and 16, right, we are calling the log function with the parameter message. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I tend to write my own logging functions to do that kind of stuff, right? Right now, these messages are coming out as log messages, right? Console.log. But what happens if we wanted to do, I don't know, just something like function warn, and then the message, right? Okay, again, I can just do console.warn, and then, you know, just I'll do log again, and then I'll do the colon, and then I'll put plus message, right? And now I'll just call down below here, I'll create warn, right? An error may have occurred. Okay, just again something random. If I can spell, all right, there we go. Okay, and if I save this and I go back and I refresh in the browser, okay, you can see here that we have the warning. Okay, again, just a silly example about a function, right? Okay, silly function example. Okay, so let's go on and create another function here. Okay, we have 2 functions so far. There's one function and there's another function. I know someone's going to ask, because someone always asks, right? If I create another script block, right, on the page, right, do I still have access to that function, right? So let's just do warn, yes, you do have access to that function, right? So here I am, and I'll reload my page, and there's my warning, okay? I think we went over that in class last week, okay? So let's create one more function, okay? Let's create one more function. And I don't know, let's do some numbers, okay? It's a goofy function, but just realize this is just for educational and learning purposes. We're going to pass this particular function to numbers. We'll call it num1 and num2, okay? And inside here, we are going to sum the numbers together, and we'll call it sum of numbers. And then we're going to add num1 plus num2. Okay, so there it is. And just know that if I call this function now, right, sum numbers, so let me go down to here, right, and I'll call sum of numbers, the function name, and the two parameters I'll issue. Well, the two arguments that I'm going to add here are going to be, I don't know, 42 and 1, right? So we all know, right, that's going to be 43. So let's just run it and see what doesn't happen, right? So here is the result. Oh, I have a error here. Sum of numbers is not defined. It's some numbers. It's some numbers, okay? Some numbers, okay? Some numbers, and let me refresh. And nothing displays anywhere, right? Because we didn't tell it here to write anything out, right? Either to the document or to the console, right? Nor did, well, to the document or to the console. So what we can do, and again, just like everything else you may have learned, right, in Python or in PHP, right, we need to return, right, back to the calling statement, right, sum of numbers, right? We need to send that back to the thing that called it. Now, here is where we call it, right? But we need to assign, right, the value, right, that's being sent back here, sum of numbers, back to something over here, right? I mean, we don't have to, right? I can just do a document here, document.write, and write this out, right, to the document here, right? Let's just do that. And there's 43, okay? Now, that doesn't assign it to anything, right? That just calls a function and then writes the value out to the DOM, right? So check it out. What I can do, right, is I can just assign it a variable, right? I can assign it a variable, and we'll just call it the sum equals, okay? And then we can do something with that variable. We can we can just log it if we want now, the sum, right? So now I should see it on the console. I shouldn't see it on the document anymore. Okay? And there it is, okay? There it is, 43. So I'll stop right there for now, and then I'll come back with another video to show you more on functions.